Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, Durbanites remain in the dark over a controversial streetlight project. It's alleged the city paid almost 600 million rand for a project that should have cost just 91 million. The Integrity Metro is denying the allegation, but Action SA says it has evidence. There are now calls for a forensic investigation to shed light on the matter. Let's discuss this now with Action SA KZN Chair Zwakele Mncwango. Mr. Mncwango, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. Very concerning reports on that alleged spending of over $500 million for maintaining street lights, which should have cost 91 million. What exactly do you know about this case?
Yeah, firstly, one must say this was a contract which was a 2-year contract that was awarded to 18 different companies, which were just awarded to replace street lights, the globes actually, specifically the globes. And one must specify that these globes are actually procured by the municipality, and all these contractors, they only come to a storeroom to collect already purchased globes. For them, it's just to go on the poles and replace them. So this contract was 91 million a total for 2 years. Now, what then came out from expenditure report is not us doing this report, it's finance producing the expenditure report. So the report is showing that November 2019 and December 2019 and January 2022, those 3 months, the council had already spent about 579 million rand. So that's exactly the challenge, where we are saying there should be investigation. Now, the city did yesterday, their argument, they are saying, yes, we have exceeded the budget, but the question is, they can't say by how much, because you can't acknowledge that you have overspent. By the same time, you can't tell us how much you have. If you're saying you dispute these figures, then how much then you know? That's the problem we have with the city, because we've been saying, tell us then how much, because we have this report, which is expenditure report, which shows exactly that actually some companies in just one company in 1 month will be getting about 43 million rand just to change lighted bulbs. So that's an issue we are saying. How can changing a light bulb, that anyone can do it, doesn't even require any special skills. I am an engineer by profession, electrical engineer, but I don't really need expertise to change a globe. You know, anyone can change a globe. So what it is that we're paying for? Why so much? And why we have spent more than what was budgeted for within 3 months? That's a question the city must answer. But we are happy that investigation will go ahead. They must come out clear and come out and tell us exactly what happened.
Because that's the challenge we're all facing right now, that the city is only just disputing the figures. Even some of those who were beneficiaries, the 18 companies, a number of them, all they're saying is that this figure is incorrect. But we cannot get a sense as to what was promised to you, what were you entitled to, if you're saying this particular figure is incorrect.
That's a challenge, because even these companies, they must be transparent. If they are saying, if someone says, I didn't receive 43 million rand in this month, then they must say how much they received. Why they can't be transparent? But also, I'm not concerned much about companies. The city must provide the proof. They must say, these are public funds. There's no reason why they can't be transparent. Yes, there's investigation, but they must produce what they have. Because if you are saying, yes, we overspent from 90 million rand, but then how much? If you dispute 579 million rand, it's like a pala issue, where Ramaphosa will come and say, no, actually, this is not a correct amount. The media have a wrong figure, but the money was stolen. But the question, how much was stolen, President? He can't say how much was stolen. So it's the same issue here we are facing with the municipality. They are saying they agree that there was overspending, but they can't tell how much was then overspent with. So we are saying the city must be transparent. They can't really run away from telling the truth and say how much exactly was then spent. Because if you dispute something, you dispute because you've got the correct information or other information which is different from what the media is saying. As opposition, we are saying we have this document from expenditure report saying the city have spent 579 million rand in 3 months. If the city says we are lying, it's not true, then they must produce the factual information. They can't say, we will wait for investigation, but we dispute the figures. Why you can't put things on the table? Say, be honest with us as a public and say, this is how much you've spent. But the question is, how do we arrive to this situation? Honestly, the city is running away from accountability, and we believe this leadership of the city must take leadership seriously, and they must be accountable to the public of eThekwini, to ratepayers of eThekwini. They can't run from accountability.
And then when do you expect some sort of a progress report on this investigation?
Look, we'll keep putting pressure in eThekwini. Unfortunately, as you know, we are dealing with arrogance of ANC leadership in eThekwini. That is why, for example, even the issue of sewer, we've been pushing them. We have had to go to court. We didn't want to go to court. This was not our intention. But we are forced to go to court for them to do what they have to do. Like yesterday, they came to court unprepared. They have been done answering affidavits before the court, and they are coming to say they want to do mediation. We are saying, what mediation? You failed to fix infrastructure. You underspend your budget on infrastructure, but you come and say you want mediation. What mediation you're going to have with Action SA? We are saying the court must force them to come and do answering affidavits, and we are happy the judge made an order that they must do answering affidavits by the 31st of March. So we are saying even in this case, unfortunately, we'll keep putting pressure on Action SA because clearly we are now the only official opposition in eThekwini that keep putting pressure and fighting for our residents in eThekwini. We'll continue to do so, even if it means, even these matters, we have to go legally. We'll do so, but we'll never rest up until truth comes out.
Now, given that this was meant to be a 2-year contract of servicing the lights in the city, it hasn't happened. It was 3 months. They exhausted their budget. Was it satisfactory in any way, though? That is, the city, to a certain extent, well lit at night during, or at least was it well lit during the 3-month period where everybody was being paid?
That's a strange part because it's not clear exactly what happened. I can tell right now, even around eThekwini, you still find streetlights that are not working. So for so much money, you will expect that the city will have all lights on. But I can tell you even now, you can go around Durban, you still find lights that are not working. So the question is where the money is going. It's really bizarre, and no one really can answer because even us as residents, when we drive around, you don't see what can really relate to this amount being spent by the city. But unfortunately, we're seeing the situation where the city is running away from really accounting and be transparent with the public to say, okay, fine, we'll spend so much money, then what do we do moving forward? And I can tell you something, Mpundo, there's another report where the city, in 3 months, have spent more than 200 million rand on overtime. Now, some of it come from electricity. Now, you'll find that these officials still claim overtime. At the same time, you spend so much money on private companies who are fixing street lights. Then you ask yourself, how do you spend more than 200 million rand as a council just on overtime where you put high level of unemployment? Why can't you employ more people there? Because clearly there's a need for employment if you can spend so much money in 3 months. So these are quarterly reports that are being produced by the city, not even by Action SA. These are reports produced by the city, but unfortunately, what's happening is the city hides this information up until officials who are concerned about this corruption then start to avail this information to us as opposition parties. Say, look, we are cautious officials. So we are happy that some officials are really concerned about what's happening in this city.
Mr. Mncwango, thank you very much for your time this morning. That was Action SA's KwaZulu-Natal Chair, Zwakele Mncwango.